Hello, fifth graders. Ms. Jagodnik back again to go over some problems from lesson 15.4. It's the last one in this topic. For a while now, we've been working on coordinate grids and now tables with patterns in them. And today we're going to put it all together and look at a way you can graph your tables and your patterns on a coordinate grid so that you can see the data all together in a different way and think about some questions that might come from that. So we are on page 833 today. We're going to do both the problems on that page, the guided practice one, as well as the independent practice one. So you can read along if you have not tried the problems already, and you can see the information for numbers 1 through 3. I have already kind of taken a shortcut and jotted the important information up here so we could go through this a little bit quickly. So the basic problem here is asking me to graph money saved for two different people, Mindy and Georgette. And I can see here that it's kind of a complicated pattern because they both start at different places and they also both add a different amount each time. So the first thing I need to do here is I answered number 1 for you already. You can certainly fill that in if you haven't already. These are the rules to the pattern based on the information in the problem. For Mindy, I need to start at 20 and then I need to add 8 each time. For Georgette, she's going to start at 0. She hasn't saved anything yet, and she's going to add 5 each time. Okay? And we're going month by month. So I'm just going to follow the rule first to fill in the pattern. By the way, I'm using 2 different colors. If you have that capability, you might want to do that in your work as well, just to keep the 2 separate, because when we put them on the grid, we want to clearly see which line goes with which chart. So Mindy, I'm doing in red, and she is starting at $20. You can put the $sign, you don't need to because I've put the unit here. I'm going to add 8 each time. So here I'm just going to be doing a plus 8 pattern. So I should be going from 20 to 28. 28 plus 8 more would be 36. 36 plus 8 would get me to 44. 44 plus 8 would get me to 52. 52 plus 8 would get me to 60. And 60 plus 8 will get me to 68. So that should be the end of my chart. Now, Georgette is a different situation. She is starting at 0. Okay. And I'm adding 5 each time. Well, this should be easy. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So at the end of 6 months, it looks like Mindy has a lot more money. She has $68. Georgette has $30. Now, the question, this is number 3, asks me, will they ever have the same amount? It certainly seems like, just reasoning through it, I'm going to say no. They will not have the same amount because Mindy started with more than Georgette did, and Mindy is adding more each time. So if she already started higher than Georgette and she's saving more every month than Georgette is, I think she's actually, the gap is going to get wider. She's going to have more and more and more and more and more every month they go on. Okay, so, but number 2 asked me first to put this on a grid. So I've made myself a grid here so that I can put these lines on the grid and I can see for sure what is happening with these patterns. So if you look at my grid, the way I've set it up, I have the number of months across the bottom. Okay, and you have this in your book as well. And I have the money saved going up and down. So this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. So now for each person, I'm just going to graph these as separate ordered pairs. So I'm going to just go with what's on the graph. Here's the x-axis. I'm going to go over that many months. And here's the y-axis. I'm going to go up that many dollars. So here's x, here's y. So for example, okay, start would be 0, 20. The first month would be 1, 28. Then I have 2, 36. Sorry. Then I have 3, 44. Then I have 4, 52. Then I have 5, 60. And then I have 6, 68. So those are the points I need to put on the graph for Mindy. So 0 means I'm not going over it all on the x-axis, putting it right at 20. Here's 1 month, I'm up to 28. So I'm estimating here because the y-axis is going by 5, so 28 would be close to the 30. 2 months, I'm up to 36. So that would be getting, or I'm sorry, it was going by tens. That would be getting close to the 40, about halfway in between. 3 months would be at 44, so almost halfway to the 50. 4 months would be at 52, so a little above the 50 there. 5 months would be exactly at 60. That one's nice and easy. And then 6 months would be at 68. Okay, so there's Mindy's pattern. Okay, and I can show it's a pattern by connecting. Don't try it this way at home. If you have a ruler, you should be using a ruler. But there is Mindy's line. Okay, there's where she started. There's how much she's increasing. And it will keep going that way. I did not put an arrow here because that's where she started. There was nothing before that. But I did put an arrow here because it is a pattern. So it will continue in the same direction at that same rate as long as she keeps following the pattern. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, Georgette started at 0, so that's the origin right there. No months, no money. Okay, 1 month she's at 5, so halfway to 10. The second month she's at 10. The third month she's at 15, halfway. These are nice and easy. 4, 20. 5 goes up to 25, halfway to 30. And 6 is exactly on 30. And once again, I can connect them all to show the pattern. And it will keep going that way. Okay, so now I definitely have confirmation here that I am right. They will never have the same amount of money. Because not only are they going completely separately, they're never even coming close to touching. But if I look carefully at what I've done here, they're actually getting further and further and further and further apart. So the longer they keep up with these patterns, the bigger the difference is going to be and the more Mindy is going to have more money than she does. Okay, so that is the answer to number 3. I can go and answer it for sure now. Will the girls ever have the same amount? No, absolutely not. Mindy will always have more. And the longer they do this, the bigger the difference will be. So there's, okay, ready to move on to the second problem now. Okay. The second problem, you will see, is going to be a very different kind of solution when we do get to the grid. Okay, so the second problem is about lawn care. Okay, I don't think you can see the entire chart, so let's just fix that. Okay, the second problem is about lawn care. Okay, so I have 2 different lawn care companies. And again, for number 4, after the problem, they ask you to do the rule and complete the table. So I've already written the rule based on the information of the problem. O'Brien's Lawn Company is starting at 15 and adding 12 each time. So that's the pattern we will follow. Carter's is starting at 25. So I see he's starting at more money, but he's only adding 10 each time. He's not adding as much as O'Brien is. So if I go quickly through the table, because we're used to that now, okay? O'Brien starts at 15. Again, my unit is here, so I don't really need to keep making the dollar sign. And I'm adding 12 each time. So 15 plus 12 is 27. Plus 12 more would be 39. Plus 12 more would be 51. Plus 12 more would be 63. Plus 12 more would be 75. And then plus 12 more would be 87. So somebody who mows 6 lawns should make $87 because he's starting at 15 and they're getting an extra $12 for every lawn. Now, if I go to Carter's, Carter starts at 25. Ooh, nice easy adding, just adding 10. So 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85. So somebody who is in Carter's Lawn Company that mows 6 lawns will make $85. So a little different, not as much as the one we did above. Okay, now once again, the final question asks you which company pays more and to explain, but first they ask you to graph it on the grid so that we can really see it in a different way. So my grid here, okay, I don't know how well you can see that. Let's put it up here so it's nice and clear. My grid here has the number of lawns on the bottom on the x-axis and how much they get paid going up on the y-axis. So if I think of these again as ordered pairs, and start, of course, is 0, okay. The lawns along the x-axis go first, and then the pay up the y-axis is the second number in the ordered pair. So if you're in O'Brien's using red, I'm going to start with 0 lawns. We're starting at $15. Again, we're counting by tens here, so I have to estimate, but I'm exactly between the 10 and the 20. 1 lawn, going over 1 on the x-axis, up 27 on the y-axis, so a little more than halfway to 30. 2 lawns gets me 39, so almost up to 40. 3 lawns, 51, so right over the 50. 4 lawns is 63, so not quite halfway to 70. 5 lawns is 75, so right between the 70 and the 80. And 6 lawns is 87, so almost up to the 90. Okay. And again, I can connect. Of course, you would do this with a ruler to make it really accurate. And there's my pattern. Okay, so starting at 20, and it will just keep going that way, which is why I put the arrow at the end, because it is a pattern. Okay. And now I can do the same thing for Carter's so that I can compare them. So here's Carter's starting at 25. So here's my start, 0, 25 is my ordered pair. I'm starting right here. Okay. But then I'm adding 10 each time. So 1 goes up to 35, halfway between. 2 goes up to 45, between 40 and 50. 3 is halfway between 50 and 60 at 55. 4 goes up to 65, halfway to 70. Okay. 5 goes up to 75. Oh, there's already a dot there. I'm going to have to put it in the same place. And 6 goes up to 85, so halfway between 80 and 90 right there. Okay. So now, okay, again, you'd be doing it with your ruler. I'm going to very carefully do it freehand here. These are very close together, and here they cross. They're exactly in the same place, and then I'm a little bit over on this side now. Okay. So this is a more complicated answer than the last one. Notice we have 2 very different patterns. In the first problem we did, I'll bring that back over for you to see the difference again. Okay. The 2 girls that were saving money were getting further and further apart. The lines never touched, and the further we went, the further apart they got because one girl was saving a lot more than the other. This one is very different. They start pretty close together, and they get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer until they actually cross and end up on the other side. So now for the problem, what does that mean? My question was, which company pays more? The money is on the y-axis. That's how much pay I'm getting. So if I look at start, and I can see this in the chart too. If I look at start, the red line is lower. For the first part of my graph, the blue line is higher, the red line is lower. And that matches up with what I am seeing in my chart. Red is lower, 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 lower. Okay. Up until right here. Okay. So it looks like if I am mowing lawns and I mow 1 lawn, I make more in Carter's company. If I mow 2 lawns, I make more money if I'm in Carter's company. If I mow 3 lawns, I make more money if I'm in Carter's company. If I mow 4 lawns, it's really, really close, but Carter's going to give me $2 more, just a little tiny bit more. Okay. If I mow 5 lawns, it looks like it doesn't make a bit of difference which company I'm in. Carter's going to pay me $75 and O'Brien is going to pay me $75. And I can see that not only in the chart here that they're tied, but on the grid because they're getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And boom, right here, I have 2 dots. The red and the blue line both hit at 75 right there. Okay. And then what happens on the other side? Now the red line is a little bit more. And I can see that on the graph. This is where the red line gets higher. So if I mow 6 lawns, I actually make more if I'm in O'Brien's company than if I'm in Carter's. Okay. So which company pays more is a complicated question. It's not as easy as the last one. So I have to explain this. Which company pays more? Let's see. If I mow 1 to 4 lawns, who pays more? The blue line is higher. Carter pays more. Five lawns, they pay the same. Six lawns, O'Brien's pays more. Now, that's important information to know in the real world. If I was going to join one of these landscaping companies, knowing how much work I plan to do, I would want to know which one would pay me more. So it seems like, just as a real world explanation, gee, if I'm not going to mow too many lawns, I'd rather go with Carter's company. He'll pay me more. But if I'm going to mow a lot of lawns, now O'Brien is starting to make me more money. I wonder if that will continue. It seems like it will, because this is going to keep going that way, and this one's going to keep going that way, and now it's going to look more like our first grid afterwards, where it's just going to keep getting further and further apart, because every time I mow a lawn from here on out, I'm getting 12 with O'Brien and 10 with Carter. So for every new lawn that I mow, he's going to give me $2 more than Carter will. So O'Brien, if I may actually want to revise this answer, 6 lawns or more, since I know that pattern is going to keep going that way, if I mow 6 lawns or more, then I want to go with this company, O'Brien's, because that will pay more. All right, so there is my complicated answer. If I mow 1 to 4 lawns, Carter's pays more. 5 lawns, they pay the same. 6 lawns or more, O'Brien's pays more. Okay, so that was page 833. You may go on to 834 on your own. And then, of course, the practice buddy for today. And that is the end of topic 15. So tomorrow you will start a whole new topic with Ms. Singh.